Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 274 of the Drunk Nashers podcast. I'm your host, as always. I'm Tyler. And joining me, we have Gables.
Hey.
So this is, part 3 of our 3 shows for the night. This episode, we're going to talk about Sony's E3 2018 press conference. So I'm going to stick to it as normal like we have on the other shows. I think this is our 6th one. Holy shit. It's flying by, man.
It is.
Look forward to E3 all year round, and then it's just kind of blink of an eye, it's over. Like I said, we're going to talk about everything that happened, and then we'll go back and talk about it at the end. So, started off with Last of Us Part 2. We had a long gameplay trailer of that. Got some a CG trailer too. Started off in like a church, and then it went into like a barn, I guess. They said it was a church, but it looks more like a barn. And then the CG trailer actually took place, and it looked almost identical to the barn that was taking place that they were filming the conference in real life.
Yep.
Which is kind of a cool thing. Then we got a long gameplay trailer for that. Fun fact, people that haven't played Last of Us DLC. Fuck, I just forgot the name of it.
Oh boy. It's been a while too.
Yeah, I haven't played it in a little bit. I'm gonna Google real quick. Last of Us DLC. Left Behind. Thank you.
Yes.
Google. Which fun fact for you guys. Ellie is gay. I didn't know if in case you didn't know. I think probably shocked a lot of people because she ends up making out the girl. And then it cuts to a very long cutscene, or not cutscene, but a gameplay of her going through and just murdering people like crazy.
Yep.
Very brutally. And then it went into like a weird 20-minute intermission, and after like 10 minutes into the show. So we ended up having that for a while. And so then they announced God of War is getting a new Game Plus mode. And then Black Ops 3 Shadow Dropped is a free PS Plus game tonight. So that might be available as you're hearing it. I guess this is going up late in the morning or early in the morning. So it should be out by now. In case you're interested, because they also announced that if you pre-order Black Ops 4 on PlayStation, on digitally, I assume, you get 2 maps from Black Ops 1, Summit and Firing Range, and you can play those on Black Ops 3 right now, I guess, if you pre-order Black Ops 4. Then they did the montage, because they announced 5 games in 5 days leading up to the press conference. They announced Tetris Effect, which is from the Res developers, and it's going to have a VR mode. And it's coming. I think it's going to be exclusive to the PlayStation 4. Then that's also when they announced Days Gone. It's coming out February 22nd. And then Don't Nod. Don't Nod's been very busy the last couple weeks with 2 game announcements and a game release. But Twin Mirror was announced. That's the makers of Life is Strange. People that don't know. And then the Vampire game that just came out. Looks more along the lines of like a Life is Strange, where it's more choices and it's more a murder mystery. Ghost Giant, it's a VR game. Kind of reminds me of Moss, where in Moss, you're the reader of the game, and the character in the book can see you. And this thing, you're the character in the game, the fox, can see you as well. Then one of the games I've been most looking forward to on the VR, Beat fucking Sabers, is coming to the PlayStation VR. It came out about a month ago, I think, on Oculus. It's basically like you have 2 lightsabers essentially, and it's like Rock Band, but with like lightsabers, and you just gotta smash it to the beat. It's basically like Rez meant Star Wars meant Rock Band, which I'm all in for. That game looks fan-fucking-tastic. It's $20. I don't know release date on that, but it's coming this year. Then they showed off a thing for Destiny 2 Forsaken. It's in DLC coming out September 4th for it. No gameplay, just a trailer for it. Then in the intermission, basically what happened is they moved the entire press conference to a different room. Looks more like what we're used to seeing. It was a giant screen, dark room. So more everything focused on the screen. So that was really fucking weird. Then we had Ghost of Tsushima, which is Sucker Punch's new game. They announced it at what was that? Like GDC Paris or something like that last year. But it is you play as basically a ninja in this, and it kind of reminded me, like the art style reminded me of like a Flower / like Twilight Princess. It's just very colorful, very pretty game, art design wise. And then the fighting style was very similar to like a Platinum / Batman Arkham game.
Yeah.
Pretty long gameplay show of that, and then he had a pretty cool boss fight, and it kind of showed you taking over like a little area. And then it's moved on to a game called Control, which we were talking about it. A bunch of us were on talking about the press conference, like live chatting. And when I saw we didn't know what it was. It was a teaser trailer, and I'm like, oh, this looks like Quantum Break 2, but that was an Xbox exclusive. Well, come to find out, this game called Control is Remedy's new game, which Remedy made Quantum Break. Yeah. It's coming out in 2019, and it's coming to Xbox as well. They obviously didn't announce at the show. That was announced later. And then the game I think everybody's been looking forward to. Justin probably had an aneurysm during Resident Evil 2 Remake coming out January 25th, 2019. So I was actually thinking about this. I first mentioned this a few days ago in one of our shows, but Capcom loves releasing the last like 4 years. They released a game like the last Tuesday of January.
Yep.
It's done really well for them. They had like Monster Hunter World, Resident Evil 7, Dying Light, now Resident Evil 2 Remake. Coming out January 25th, 2019, and it's actually up for pre-order now, and it's $60. There's a $70 edition if you want like some costumes and shit for it. Then we had Trover Saves the Universe, which is the new VR game from the Rick and Morty creators. They had another game that came. What was that? Something Plus, Accounting Plus. It was okay. It was fine. So it's their new VR game. I think that's coming this year. And then Kingdom Hearts 3. The exact goddamn trailer we saw during fucking Microsoft and Square Enix. They showed it again. Gables, they did it again. The only time this is they added, there's a Pirates of the Caribbean world in this game. And then there's a special PS4 Pro model you can buy for Kingdom Hearts 3. And there's like a collector edition pack you can buy of Kingdom Hearts 3 only for the PS4. And it comes with Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5 Remix, and Kingdom Hearts 2.8. So you can get all three of those games. And then went on to Death Stranding. Decently long trailer for it. Showed some gameplay for it for the first time ever. There's like these invisible enemies, but you have this weird backpack with a flashlight on it that shows you the enemies. And then at one point it looked like in the trailer he pulls out a gun and he goes up to he's walking up to a camp and he pulls a gun out. Looks very similar to like an MGS5 kind of style. And then for some reason there's a baby in the jar still. I don't understand what's happening there. So the more they show, the more I get confused. Neo 2 was announced. Came out. I'm surprised it just came out just last spring. Those are from the Team Ninja guys. It's basically, from what everybody says about it, it's like a Dark Souls game but with ninjas. Then they showed off a very long gameplay trailer for Spider-Man. Gables pointed out to me before the show, but they're basically doing the Sinister Six. And it pretty much was like it was all gameplay of him going through like there's a prison break, and all of like his worst enemies got out of jail. And at one point he says these are all the bad guys he put away for the last 8 years. So that means he's been doing this for a while. And then there was a game announced after the show was over, like a minute later, and I don't know how to pronounce it because it's got a lot of asterisks in it, or accents in it. Decrani? I don't know. But it's a Sony Japan and From Software game, and it's a VR game. There's no gameplay for it shown. There's just a little teaser trailer for it. So that was everything shown. It was actually, outside of Square Enix, was the shortest by a good chunk of time. I think it was like 65, 70 minutes long. It was the shortest press conference we've had so far.
Wow.
So, Gables, what did you think of the press conference?
Well, first off, to start off, that press conference was super weird structurally. And when I mean super weird structurally, I mean it just felt weird right off the bat, where it's like they're in a church. I know it was all paid to like show off a bit of like The Last of Us Part 2. They had the banjo playing. That was a nice effect and stuff. But after we get this incredibly awesome gameplay footage of The Last of Us 2, which, oh my god, I'm so excited to play that fucking game now after seeing that. We go to a 15-20 minute intermission, and it was super jarring to see, like, not even like 15 minutes into the conference where we just got done. We just saw this fantastic gameplay of like an up-and-coming game that's probably going to be released 2019. And all of a sudden, we are jarred away from the thing because they had to move all their equipment to another venue.
Yeah.
To another venue. And so we are left with about like a 20-minute intermission to where they had basically went over all the days of PlayStation, like reveals that they had done from Days Gone with the freaking release date that they got, and like the Tetris game, and this and that, the whole the VR stuff. Which hey, we already knew this already, and so when we finally get out of the freaking intermission and all the other informational stuff, we're treated to quite a bit of like waiting as well with that whole that whole like freaking Oriental flute or some performance or something like that before they unveiled bits of gameplay of Ghost of Tsushima, and it's like at one point while watching Rooster Teeth's stream, I just hear Gus roll and just utter out, and I just couldn't stop laughing after he said it and admitted it. It's like, man, I can sure go for some Andrew WK right now. Because it kind of matched the tone quite a bit, where it's like we just got done waiting like in ad nauseum for like something new to actually be revealed or something awesome and stuff after that 20-minute wait, and we get like another like live performance or something like that. It was kind of funny. First, for The Last of Us Part 2, we had the freaking like banjo solo. Then we have this Oriental flute like go from one part of the musical genre to the extreme opposite after the intermission, which I kind of find funny. And there's like no knocks against the performances because they were very well done, I gotta admit. But introducing specific games this year with different types of music, yeah, some of them were like very awkward. But after that flute performance, we went into the gameplay of Ghost of Tsushima from Sucker Punch, and oh good lord, that game looks so gorgeous. I mean, it definitely did have that look and feel of like an old like Japanese samurai movies, and there is a specific scene where he's facing off against his friend near that Buddhist monk, like that Buddhist temple, and you see the evening, the sunshine from the evening just reflect upon the leaves while they're just trying to face each other and stuff just before they clash. That moment right there was clicked in my head. It's like, oh my god, that is freaking epic looking. And it just basically gave off that whole freaking gameplay footage gave off the impression of this is a wondrously like epic sort of action game. You know, it's something that we don't generally get a lot of in terms of like that setting and that scene. I just thought that from the look of the gameplay, the look of the combat that was fluid, the look of how it looking inside 4K with the whole freaking PlayStation 4 Pro, definitely was like something interesting. And obviously my phone liked it too. But anyway, after the whole freaking like Ghost of Tsushima stuff, I decided to like just take a little bit of a breather and stuff like that when it came to it. But after I came back, I started watching like a little bit of Remedy's thing, Control, which Control actually looked pretty interesting. I didn't know what to think of it at first because of the various stuff, but after seeing it was from Remedy, the same people that did the Quantum Break and stuff, I'm actually kind of interested in seeing what the quality was going to be. Well, what it is going to be, I should say, when it eventually does come out. But I gotta say, though, after Control and we go into that whole, like, revealing for the Resident Evil 2 remake, and you're in the perspective of a rat, and you're climbing up things, and then you see this whole freaking PlayStation 1, this whole nod and stuff, it did not click in my head that it was the Resident Evil 2 remake, up until you see the zombie attacking the dude, and all of a sudden you see Leon come in and stuff with a freaking flashlight, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, and it's in the perspective, the third-party perspective of Resident Evil 4. And I immediately thought to myself, yeah, I'm going to play this. Because anything's better than the fucking tank controls. I'm sorry. The Resident Evil games, like 1, 2, and 3, they're classics. I get that. I cannot play them. The freaking tank controls absolutely are dreadful.
Yep.
But, yeah, Resident Evil 2 Remake was awesome. Trover Saves the Universe, you know, it's awesome, like, getting little, like, games and stuff from the Rick and Morty creators. And this looks like it's going to be right up the alley to probably, like, some of my friends, like, oh, especially you, Tyler, though. I know you probably like a little bit of Rick and Morty, little bits here and there.
Pretty good.
But I do have to admit, seeing Kingdom Hearts 3 for a third time instead of a press conference and stuff, whether it be Microsoft, Square Enix, and now Sony's, the only difference I could possibly see is they revealed more of the Pirates of the Caribbean world. But I thought it was really funny how they went all into you could actually battle pirate ships inside of like the freaking Pirates of the Caribbean world. And immediately after they showed that gameplay of the ships, like you have like pirate ship battles and this and that, it made me laugh because it looked a hell of a lot more interesting than Sea of Thieves and freaking Skull and Bones put together that we just saw over the past day and a half. I don't know how, I don't know why, but somehow they managed to make the pirate like battles actually interesting inside Kingdom Hearts 3. Let's see. Death Stranding. Oh my god, holy shit. What can I say about this game that has not already been said by us the past couple of years?
Make it make sense.
No shit. We've saw gameplay now of this game, and it doesn't make any fucking sense. There's more questions. Like, why the hell am I delivering things across a huge, vast land? It's like, why are there so many fucking monsters that look like they're nightmare-inducing? And
why is there a baby in a jar?
Why is there a baby in the jar? Why the hell that lady at the end or something, her jacket or something, like her spikes, like spike up and retract into her coat? Just, dude, there is so much mystery and intrigue. This is like, I kid you not, Tyler, this is like a old sci-fi movie. This is like probably the best description that I could possibly think of. It reminds me of old sci-fi novels, old sci-fi movies where there's a lot of mysterious things where you're left to interpret. And all of a sudden it's like there's all sorts of strange things like to look at, strange enemies to fight, and it's like strange like things you freaking eat. That freaking lady eating that damn grub, and I'm like, oh.
A grub a day keeps the something away. I can't remember what it was.
I guess. But I'll tell you what. Out of that whole conference, I think Neo 2 was probably like one of the bigger surprises and stuff like that, because we didn't expect to see a sequel that soon, right after the original Neo released. But obviously the other surprise is the Resident Evil 2 remake, and it's coming fairly soon. Resident Evil 2 remake, January 25th, 2019. $60 full-on game. I mean, it makes sense. They remade it from the ground up. Then, obviously, for, the past couple E3s in a row, we are looking at more Spider-Man footage. And you know what? The combat, at this point, I am sold on playing Spider-Man. I mean, I know. I don't have to look at anything else. I know I want to play it. The combat looks smooth. Things look good. I thought it was kind of interesting how they're leading into the whole Sinister Six route with the combined forces of like Electro, of Scorpion, of like the Vulture, and like other villains too. I mean, it makes sense. It definitely makes sense. It's its own standalone sort of story in the Spider-Man universe. At the same time, though, it's like, man, I kind of wish they didn't end on that, because that was kind of like, oh, okay. I know it's one of their 4 major pillar games that they said beforehand that they were going to go into. I would have much preferred that they left the Resident Evil 2 stuff, not remake stuff, maybe like at the very end.
Just to make with a bang.
Yeah, with a bang. That would make sense. But, let's see. The whole reveal after the conference and stuff with that new VR game from Software. Hey, it's cool though, but not my jam. So, here's the dilemma I kind of face with this. We saw some excellent gameplay inside this press conference. At the same time, this is sort of the same issue I had with the Microsoft press conference, where there isn't a whole lot of games that were shown here that are going to be releasing by the end of this year.
No.
You know what after going over the show notes here, the only game I could think of that's coming out this year is Spider-Man.
Yep.
And it's almost pound for pound nearly the same thing in exclusive-wise that Microsoft has the Xbox One, which their main exclusive is Forza Horizon 4. So you pick your poison between either or.
Spider-Man, no doubt.
Well, obviously so. Yeah, I mean, obviously so for us, but
Yeah.
the thing about it is, what was different about this conference in comparison to Microsoft's? Microsoft, I felt, was not betterly, but it was more professionally, not just choreographed, but the presentation was more professional than how Sony had like this weird introduction stuff with the whole dream like characters and this and that and the whole jarring intermission like not even 15 minutes into the press conference. But the gameplay that they showed through the games that they were saying to show were better, in my honest opinion, than what we saw gameplay wise inside the Microsoft press conference. I mean, it's almost like an opposite sort of effect where you have Microsoft that had the professional introductions, then you have some of the game reveals with maybe some little bit of gameplay stuff here and there from like Gears 5 and this and that. Then you have PlayStation's where the presentation is hardly there at all. And it's really jumbled and weird and the format is all freaking messed up. But the games that they presented and the gameplay that they showed was so much more epic and so much more engaging in terms of what we want to see. Because basically what we saw was exclusive sort of content that were mostly first party things, you know, like Ghost of Tsushima, like Spider-Man, Days Gone we already knew about, but The Last of Us Part 2 and stuff. So, God, when it comes to rating this is going to be a bit controversial for me. Even though I loved seeing a lot of the gameplay stuff, everything else just really didn't match up to what like not like what I was expecting, but like it didn't match up in terms of the quality that they could have went with. So I am going to go ahead and give this one an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
It'll be the same as how I rated Bethesda, meaning there was a few things in that. Even in Bethesda 1, there was a few games that I rated, you know, the few games that I liked that were unveiled. It's the same thing here with the Sony press conference where it was pretty much saved. That press conference, the Sony presser was saved by the quality of the gameplay they showed throughout the 4 pillar games that they wanted to show. So, yeah, 8 out of 10.
Okay.
It's a little better than Microsoft's.
Yeah. So, you know, like Microsoft was boasting, we have 50 games, 18 exclusives, really only 6 of them, 15 world premieres. This, I think there was more world premieres at Microsoft than what this had, period. But just kind of looking at all this, I mean, it was shorter. It was very, other than the intermission, you take out that 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It was very quick outside of at the beginning where House came out and thanked everybody, and then the music parts, it was just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
But Last of Us Part 2, you just gotta give me a title screen for that, and I'm already gonna buy it. At this point, you're just teasing me with the gameplay for it. It's not one of those cases. Just have my money now. Like, here's my PIN number. Here's my debit card. Just take what you want and give me the goddamn game. That's where I'm at for this point right now. I need to have it now. Yeah, great, fantastic. The music at the beginning was fantastic with the banjo. I love the music of Last of Us.
Yeah.
So getting at the start off the show was awesome. The intermission was weird, but they did a decent job of kind of filling in time with announcing God of War, New Game Plus. That's something, I guess. Black Ops 3. Excuse me. That's cool. I mean, we didn't think we were gonna get anything like that. It's the worst Call of Duty game ever, but that's cool. They're giving us something. Then they kind of did the montage, like I talked about, with the 5 games they showed off or announced. Obviously, Tetris Effect. That sounds like cool. It sounds like it'd be pretty interesting with the Res guys doing it. Days Gone, still up in the air about that game, but kind of release date for it. Twin Mirror, it's Don't Nod, guys, so you've already got my attention. I just want to know more about the game. We didn't really get any gameplay for it.
Yeah.
Ghost Giant, whatever. Beat Sabers, I already talked about. Top, I'm gonna buy that day one. Destiny 2, we've already talked about. Ghost of Tsushima, just the art style alone is mesmerizing to me. Like I said, it looks like they just got that game company and the people that made Twilight Princess together, and it's like, all right, just combine your art style together, and that's what they did. It the flowers and the trees and the world and the environment just looked absolutely stunning. So if the whole game looks like that, it's gonna be fucking like that alone makes me want to play that game. But then we got to the gameplay, and that game looks fantastic.
Yeah.
It's funny, we got Spider-Man in this, and it's just like it seems like they just hired like the Batman Arkham guys to just make their games for them now. Which I'm totally fine with. It works really well. So all that looked really cool. And like the part where like the first guy attacks him, he just pulls the sword out and like just cuts him and kills him immediately. And the little pause afterwards, that was cool. Then the boss fight at the end, that's a very Platinum-esque thing to do. With that boss fight, one-on-one, just that they do a really great job of giving you that big fight feel. Platinum Games do, and they did a great job with that. Control, I like Remedy's games. I'm surprised it was at PlayStation's. Normally, look at Alan Wake and then Quantum Break. They've pretty much always been a Xbox game, even though I know they're not owned by Xbox, but all their games have always been exclusive to them. And to see this at Sony's was a huge get for Sony, even though I know it's cross-platform, but to show, hey, we got this game coming to us too. That's a big statement for them, especially when you have Microsoft announcing the big 5 studios they just purchased. But that game looks cool. I'm one of the few people that really, really, really liked Quantum Break. So to get a game that looks like essentially Quantum Break 2 will be cool. Maybe outside of the live action stuff, which wasn't as bad as people have made it out to be. But then the Resident Evil 2 remake. I remember playing Resident Evil 2 back on 64 back in the day, but I never liked the controls of the games. But seeing that, I actually guessed that one as soon as I saw the PlayStation. I'm like, oh, it's Resident Evil 2. Like, I don't know. I guess that's like the only thing that made sense to me. And then I'm like started doubting myself when it was like showing like your like first person view of the mouse or the rat. But yeah, January 25th, 2019, $60. Probably gonna pick it up day one. Just the parts it did showing it third person, and it's more like controls more like a modern day shooter, more like like the Resident Evil Revelations games, which I actually like quite a bit. Or at least the first one. Second one was okay. So it looks like it's more in that style, but with modern graphics, which that's awesome. Trover Saves the Universe. Like I said, I didn't really care for Accounting Plus. It was funny. I just it was okay though. It was funny. There's funny parts in that, but overall the game was just fine. It was. It's not a game. It's more entertaining to watch than play.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in that, that's gonna be a thing coming. Kingdom Hearts 3. Nothing really more to add because we've already talked about 2 times before that. Death Stranding. What the fuck, dude? Like, I don't know what's happening anymore. Like Kojima, like I am a hardcore fanboy of Kojima. I will never doubt him ever, or say a bad thing about that man. But like we are for the first time ever seeing Kojima go full Kojima, and I am fucking confused. But like everything he shows me, he's got me by the balls. Like. I already gave Naughty Dog my PIN number and my debit card. He can just have my testicles. If I can just have the game right now, just take them. Dude, they're yours.
Dude, even if the full,
I need it.
Dude, even if the full on Death Stranding is just nothing more than you just delivering packages across an open world or something like that, it's going to be like probably one of the strangest things you'll probably ever do in a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like it looks a lot like Metal Gear Solid 5, the way he moves around in the environment. I mean, definitely, it's the world looks a lot different, but this kind of the way it's structured looks very similar to Metal Gear Solid 5. And I even asked on our chat, like, did he just hire Norman Reedus because he looks similar to Snake from MGS5? Because just the way he walked and like his hair and everything, I'm like, he just looks like Snake with the ponytail almost from MGS5. But yeah, that game, the only thing missing was a date.
Yeah.
Or like at least a time, like a release window. Like 2020, 2019, something. I know it's probably 2020. It's probably the last hurrah for the franchise or for the console generation. But yeah, that game looks. I don't care. I just want it badly. Testicles have them. Neo 2, that's cool. It's not my bag. Spider-Man, I've already bought and pre-ordered it. They've already got my money, quite literally. So, just gotta wait 2 more months for it to come out. 3 more months. Fuck. 3 months. God damn it. But the gameplay for that looks really cool. Like I said, with Ghost of Tsushima, this looks like a Batman style fighting, but with mechanics. But hey, I'm fine with that. It works really great. We need more games like that since the Batman games are pretty much gone away. And then that weird VR game from Software at the end. Nothing really to add there. It was a 30-second teaser. But overall, I thought if you take out the intermission, it was a fantastic, press conference still. Showed off gameplay. They had the big four. No real big surprises, really, other than I think the real main surprise was Resident Evil 2. But I think I'm way more excited than really anybody about the Remedy game, Control. So I'm going to go 8.5 out of 10. It was slightly better than Microsoft's to me. I have Microsoft at an 8 out of 10 now. These are 8.5. The key differences are, even though these are years out, Spider-Man, like I said, Spider-Man's the only one come out this year, but the things they focused on, 80% of this press conference, are their games. Even so you got to think. So they showed that the Carry On game, the French game I can't pronounce, the VR game at the end. That's their game. Spider-Man, their game. Neo 2, their game. Death Stranding, their game. Trover Saves the Universe, their game. Resident Evil 2 Remake, I believe that's their game. I'm not quite sure. Ghost of Tsushima, their game. Beat Sabers, their game. Ghost Giant, their game. Days Gone, their game. Tetris Effect, their game. God of War with the New Game Plus, their game. Last of Us Part 2, their game. The only thing that they really actually spent any time on that wasn't their game was Control. That's it. Everything was theirs in Kingdom Hearts 3, which was theirs until just 24 hours ago.
Yep.
And then they won up Microsoft by having their own special collector edition and then their own console. So, that's to me that's they've sold me, and maybe some of these games fall out, like maybe Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us Part 2 and Death Stranding. Those games could very well be. Some Ghost of Tsushima could be a game, or Last of Us could very well be games for next year.
Yep.
Or in 2020. All three of those games could be 2020 or more. So that's the only downside of it. That's the intermission, and the fact that there are three of the big four are a year or two or more out is the only thing I make this it would drop it from a 9.5 to an 8.5. But other than that, fantastic press conference. Sony once again killed it this year. It's gonna be tough for Nintendo to top it. This is our 6th year doing it, and it was funny we were talking about last year. The first 4 years of us talking about E3, Sony came out the winner.
Yep.
And then Nintendo stole it last year. And now, unless Nintendo comes out and kills it again this year, we're looking at Sony taking back the torch, I guess, for E3. But they have pretty much perfected E3, how it's done since 2013. They really haven't had a bad one. They haven't really had a mediocre one. They've always been really strong and really good. So hence why I gave them an 8.5 out of 10. But yeah, fantastic press conference. Really great year, day for gaming with Ubisoft and Sony. And then, hey, nice try, Square Enix. Good for you guys. You get a participation trophy. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for us, guys, on day 3 of 4 of podcasting. Check us back if you haven't already. Go back. We released Ubisoft and our Square Enix talk for E3, and then come back tomorrow. We're going to be talking about Nintendo. So thank you guys for listening. You guys have a lovely day 4 of E3. We'll talk to you guys in 24 hours.
Yep.
Bye, guys. Bye.